Welcome to a new podcast, Real Estate vs. Technology. Hope all is well on your side. It's 9:06 in the morning, Friday, September 27th. Super excited to bring you a new guest today. And I want to say thanks to Liftoff Agent for sponsoring the show. If you already know so, like, subscribe, notification bell. Why? Because on Mondays is when our show goes live every single week to add value to you. Whether you want to get in the business of real estate, you're already in the business of real estate. And today we're going to talk about building a brokerage and what that looks like from just being a traditional real estate agent to building a brokerage. Our guest also had a podcast as well, so I'm super excited to go into his story. So let's go ahead and kick this off with the man, the myth, the legend. What's going down, Antonio? Welcome to Real Estate vs. Technology.
Good morning, man. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I know before we got on air, you talked a little bit about your podcast and what you're doing with that and the studio you have. I see you're over there with, you have the Service First Real Estate Brokerage. So congratulations on
Thank you.
starting your own firm, doing your own thing and crushing it on that side. And why get in this world of real estate? What was like that trigger? You're like, dude, like let's go in this direction and get into this industry.
All right. So it's a very long story, but I'll try to make it as brief
We
as
got
I
an hour.
can.
We're good.
Okay, perfect. So I graduated from LSU in 2007, and
Okay.
I moved to Dallas for a bank examiner job. All right.
Ah,
That same year, I also read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That got me
okay.
intrigued. That made me want to start, dabbling into the real estate investing side of things.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get access to the houses, but I didn't want to bother a realtor. So I felt like,
Ah.
talking to my wife, well, my fiance at the time,
Yeah.
as well as one of my mentors who was also a realtor, they both said, you have a good, I guess I had a network out there as well as like I'm good with people. So they're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you may want to look into this. So I looked
Mm.
into it, got my license in 2010. Also, I was still running the same job, that bank examiner position for the federal government.
Mm.
I licensed in Dallas, Texas, all the way through 2016. And my wife and I, we wanted to move back home to Louisiana. So I gave my job at the time an ultimatum. I said, either I leave or you let me work from home in Louisiana. And they value me as an employee. So moved back home in 2016, got my
Nice.
license here in Louisiana. And I've been licensed since 2010. I started the brokerage in 2020. And it's been on and popping. I quit that job, by the way, that bank examiner job. I quit that in December of 2021. So
Wow.
from 2010 to 2021, I was doing both jobs simultaneously, and that's why I have so many gray hairs. It's stressful, man.
Dude. Well, first off, congratulations on quitting your job, going your own direction. I think anyone out there who's listening can relate to that, right? Because a lot of times it's just like people are working these 9 to 5s and they're grinding for someone else's dreams and they're forgetting that there's so much more opportunity out there. And I love how you took advantage of that opportunity. Like, you know what? Like, I want to work from home. And if you value
Yeah.
me, in the same which they did, they let you work from home, which actually was probably a blessing in disguise because you got to do a little less traveling, you got to be at home, you got to maximize opportunities. I mean, I gotta say, like, with this podcast, it's been a blessing because to jump on a Zoom or jump on like we're on StreamYard for everyone out there. That's what we're using for the recording of the show. So if you want to do your own podcast, StreamYard is super simple and there's no driving, right? And like we have an in-person studio here, but like, there's no driving, there's no one late because of traffic or a car accident or whatever. So you can maximize every single piece of your time, I can imagine, as you were growing your thing, doing your thing. And so 14 years, in the business, what made you go from like, hey, I'm gonna, not just get my real estate license, but like become a principal broker?
All right. So, I skipped this part of the story, but I got the license. My first
Yeah.
sale was in 2011, and I
Okay.
enjoyed the reaction from my client, and that kind of told me
Mm.
that maybe there's something more to this. Like I did it initially just for some extra money and to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
able to access the houses on my own without having to bother a realtor.
Got it.
And that first closing made me think about it a little bit more. Like maybe there's a career in this. So the first
Mm.
10 years, all the way through 2020, I
Yeah.
hadn't made more than $44,000 in sales, man. Like
Wow.
commission, because I treated it like a hobby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That makes
the
sense.
end of 2019, November 2019, I hired a coach
Okay.
and I started using the CRM and I started treating it like a business. And immediately, my next in 2020, you know what happened in 2020, but my income went to 235,000, and I never looked back since. So I
Wow.
was working, basically running the brokerage. In
Yeah.
2020, I was also doing my individual production
Yeah.
as well as the bank examiner job. And the bank examiner job did travel. I used to travel 1 to 2 weeks out of the month, Monday through Friday,
Wow.
to different cities around the U.S. So I was just trying to do too much. Like it was way too stressful. We have young kids at the time as well. It was just too much on my
Mm,
plate. So that's why I decided to walk away. It was just, more so I wanted to bet on myself. And that's what I did. And I do not regret it one bit, man, at all. At
there you
all.
go. Let's go.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's something to take in consideration too, because what I've learned over the years is like your value, and like where do you see your value? Are you worth 50,000 a year? You worth 100,000 a year? You worth 240,000 a year? You worth a billion? Whatever it is, I feel like people undervalue their time and who they are and what they're worth, and whether it's circumstances they've gone through, or family, whatever, other friends, family, whatever it is. I mean, I feel like anyone who's listening and viewing, like I just feel like you're worth more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're worth more, because I can imagine now you making that type of money, I can imagine you probably didn't work as hard, or did you work as hard as you were making when you're working with the government?
Equally as hard because I've always
Okay.
looked
Okay.
at making the money to be able to buy investment properties, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like I was making 120,000 working for the federal government, which is a cush job, by the way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't like being told what to do. Like now, I could just take a vacation whenever I want. I could take
Amen.
leave whenever I want. Like I
Let's
can go to
go.
lunch whenever I want. I don't
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
check in with somebody. And with that job, we used to have our green light on all the time, like our instant messenger. If we were away from our computer for 5 minutes, it would turn yellow. After 10 minutes, it turns red. So that way they know you're not by the
Ah,
computer. I didn't like that, man. I wanted independence. You know what
it's
I'm
like
saying?
Big Brother.
So yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I didn't really appreciate that. So that's why I decided to just do it all on my own and just, take that leap of faith, man. You gotta sometimes if you gotta take that risk, you know what I mean? And I have not regretted it one day since at
Amen.
all.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
awesome. I can imagine, even though you worked maybe as hard, you probably didn't feel like you were really working, because you love what you were doing,
correct. Yep.
you know? And
Agree with you 100%.
And so many people forget that, man. They just like, oh, well, I got to pay the bills. I got this, I got that, whatever else. And it's just like, well, are you happy? No.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing? If you're not happy, why are you doing what you're doing? And there's a whole other opportunity. And that's where I think y'all should, for whoever's listening, viewing out there, take in consideration, like whether you want to get your real estate license, or, you're working for someone else, or maybe, someone's listening out there who's just basically an office manager, or just, a front desk person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't happy.
Right. But let me say this because I don't want to come off as if I'm anti 9 to 5 because
Okay.
that job did allow me to invest in real estate on the side. Like that gave me,
Okay.
it's way easier to get a loan when you have a stable W-2 coming in.
That's true.
And so I was able, like at this point in time, I own $253 total real estate
Wow.
investment. Yeah. So not just me, like not 100% all
Yeah.
$253, but yes, I have an ownership in 253 properties or doors. And that
Nice.
that that income allowed that. Like so I'm grateful. So I'm not anti 9 to 5. I'm just saying that I would utilize that 9 to 5 to be able to do whatever you really want to do out there.
Mm,
So
dude, I
I
love
didn't
that.
quit until I knew I was financially stable enough to take that leap.
Okay, okay. So I have a couple questions to lead into getting to that point where you make that leap. So you have these investment properties, you have the stable job, you're investing, so that way you can have, it sounds like, passive residual income, and other things other than your 9 to 5 and that specific income. So for anyone viewing and listening, how do you even start getting into investing into that many doors, and what does that even look like?
So the crazy thing about this is I told you I read Rich Dad Poor Dad in 2007.
Yeah.
I didn't buy my first property until 2018. So
Wow.
that's 11 years wasted because I was scared. I just
Makes
kept
sense.
going through the same cycle. I was going to every conference, reading every book.
Mhm.
I just
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I was scared to take action. I felt like I didn't know enough, and I
Yeah.
let analysis of what is it? Paralysis by analysis. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Paralysis by analysis kicked in because I just felt like, well, what about this and what about that? Until the very first purchase was June of 2018, which was an office building. I bought that. My brokerage is out of right now, but I bought that and I was like, damn, this is easy. Like that first, I closed on June 28th. The rents came in on July 1st, and I was like, damn, this is easy. And it's been on and popping
Wow.
ever since, man. So it's not as hard as people make it seem. You just have to take that leap and take some action. Otherwise, you'll never do it if you don't start and course correct along the way.
Wow. I love that. I love that. So take them into the story of like your first investment, what it looked like, kind of take them into like that emotional roller coaster you were kind of going through, and how you stumbled upon the first deal to be able to make that investment to even get started.
Yeah, so I have been looking for years. I told you I've been looking since 2007, but I was just
Yeah,
scared. So
yeah.
I got tired of being scared. I just got tired of being tired, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I search every day. Like I even to
Mm-hmm.
this day, I still look at properties every single day on the MLS just to see what's available.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I stumbled across an office building. It wasn't expensive at all, and I knew that one day I wanted to own my own brokerage. So I figured, why not? It was
Love it.
occupied. So the way it is set up now is like one main office with 4 individual rooms. So the way the seller at the time, he had all 4 rooms rented out, one to himself. So consider it basically 3 rooms rented out and one he used.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, why not just, take over this building, get the income streams. I don't have to find tenants. And then one day I can run my brokerage out of it. So that was my thought process going into it.
Ah,
And, like I said, 3 days later or 4 days, whatever it was, June 28th to July 1st, I started receiving rent checks. And I was like, okay, I could do this again. And it wasn't that bad. And I just felt, it just scaled ever since then. The biggest thing in the portfolio is a 240 unit apartment complex. So that's in
wow.
Georgia. But it's a group of us that own that, not just me.
Wow, that's amazing. So then when they find something that potentially they want to purchase, I love the fact that you already manifest like, okay, like I know where I'm going with the brokerage. I like how the first property, it was like, okay, cool. Like you have receptionists, 4 offices, you can rent those to small business owners. It's cash flow for that. Was the property already like cash flowing for you? So when you purchased it initially, it was already something cash flowing?
Yep, it's already cash flowing. And so to this day, I have 2 of the 4 offices rented, one to a janitorial company and one to a doctor. And the other 2 we use. When I say we,
Nice.
the brokerage uses. But
Yeah.
really, it's 24 agents and hardly anyone goes to the office, to be honest with you. So it's really like a mailing address. And so that
Wow.
pays all the bills, the mortgage, the utilities, everything. They
And that's
rent from
amazing.
those 2.
That's amazing because, like, if you're listening, you can put that underneath your brokerage can be underneath like your LLC or your C or S corp. Then from there, you can write everything off. You need write-offs anyways, right? And then
Yeah,
can you also depreciate the assets so that way you save on the taxes as well?
correct. Yep.
Dude, winning.
Oh yeah,
That
it's so many strategies when it comes to tax. So I'm not a CPA by any means, but I know a lot of stuff about taxes because I invest the time reading books and I even purchase courses on taxes and stuff because I feel like I'm all for paying my fair share, but I don't want to leave a tip. So like
yeah,
I invest in my education when it comes to that because I want to make sure that I'm not overpaying, because I'd rather utilize the money than giving it over to the government and let them mishandle it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
100%.
so it's a,
I
it's a lot of strategies, man, when it comes to real estate investing that you could take advantage of.
I love that, man. I love that. That's super huge. So congratulations on the brokerage. Congratulations on the agents. I know that a lot of individuals, like, especially with after COVID, everyone's like, I'm just gonna stay at home. I don't need to go to the office. I don't need to do any of that. I think nowadays the value on offices is like if you got like a content filming room or you got a podcast room or something that someone can go in and you know what I'm saying and get content done. I feel like that's a value. But outside of that, like I'm showing in my personal residence right now.
Right. Yeah. I work from home every day. I don't even go to the office unless I'm going to check the mail.
I love that. I love that. So for your brokerage, like, and when you think about scaling and growing a brokerage and the team that you have, and they don't even go inside the office, like, how do you still meet and coach and meet and help, and you still have some type of team camaraderie, or how does that even work for anyone out there that wants to get into owning a brokerage?
Absolutely. So we have one office monthly meeting on the first
Okay.
Thursday of the month via Zoom, and that's pretty much standard. But outside of that, we have what I call Service First University, where it's like a portal where I basically record everything, and I mean everything. So that
Wow.
way I'm not because it's just me. I'm the only staff. Like I have no staff. So
Wow.
in order to leverage myself, I record everything and I put it in the portal. So that way I'm not being hit with the same questions all the time. So a lot of that stuff can be answered if you just log into the portal. But outside of that, my coach allows all of the agents at the brokerage to have access to his group coaching platform. So that helps the training, for that part as well. And we
Nice.
all are in GroupMe. So you're familiar with GroupMe, the app? It's
No,
like
tell us about it.
it's just an app where you can. It's like a group. So it's a group of people, and we can text and talk. So that helps with the
Okay.
camaraderie because
Okay.
of the 24, we have 13 in New Orleans and 11 in Baton Rouge. So we're separated by an hour. So if
Wow.
we're all in there talking daily, asking questions, joking around, having fun, that helps with the culture building. So yes, we're
Mm.
not together all the time, in the present, but we do talk virtually and things like that. And then I do things. I try to do things every other month, but it's been slacking lately. Where we'll meet up, like the last event I had in my house. Sometimes we'll go out to eat. We'll go to Top Golf, things like that, just to build that
Love it.
culture. Like I said, it's an hour distance between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, so it's just having to find that. Sometimes we alternate. Sometimes we go to New Orleans. Sometimes we go to Baton Rouge. We just came back from the Bahamas in July. So we take a company trip every July, like a kind of like a retreat where I'll
Yeah.
teach. I'll maybe have somebody else come in and teach. That way we can write it off as a business trip. And it's just a good way to build that culture.
I love that, man. Yeah, we're actually on the Liftoff Agent side that sponsors the show. We have 17 in the Philippines, and so we're off to Oceanica, and so we're going to Oceanica. There's going to be about 30 of us, and plus the plus ones, right? So very blessed and grateful to be able to have that opportunity, and having that team building is so important as you scale and grow for anyone out there looking to grow a brokerage, or if you're watching this and you just want to start your own company as well. And I love that because, yeah, it's a tax write off and you got to have write offs, right? At the end of the day.
Yep. Yep. And you asked me a question earlier, and I don't even know if I answered it all the way, but the main reason one of the main reasons I ended up going ahead and starting the brokerage is because I felt like at my previous, prior to me opening a brokerage, I had been at 3 different brokerages
Okay.
over my time period. So
Yeah.
2 in Dallas and then 1 in New Orleans. And
Got
I
it.
felt like I could contribute more. I had more to give.
Yeah.
Plus, at the previous brokerage, I didn't necessarily like the commission split.
Okay.
And I just felt like I had more to give. So I went ahead and went out on my own just because I had this big vision in my mind where I wanted to build this company. And right now we're small. It's only 24 of us, but I got big vision, man. Like I plan on scaling this beyond just my local regional Louisiana area.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I've been trying to put in systems and things like that. So at our brokerage, the slogan is we value relationships over transactions. So I'm building a lot of
Amen.
relationships with nonprofits, things like that. We give 10% of all of our commissions earned to local nonprofits. I
I
believe
love it.
in helping people in the community instead of like nothing's wrong with like a Red Cross and things like that. But I
Yeah.
know if I give money to a local nonprofit, I can see that money trickle down to the people. So that's what I'm big on, and that's what we do at the brokerage level.
I love that, man. You're speaking my wife's language over here because she's the same way. She's all, you go to these grocery stores or whatever else, and they're like, you want to, donate to this or donate to that, or you're at Walmart or whatever, and you're like, ah, is the money really going there? Can you really see what's
Right.
going on here? I like how you go more local because then you can actually see the impact.
Yep. So I'll give you an example. So the YWCA, we just contributed to them. I say just 2 months ago, we made a donation to them.
Mm,
They're pretty much on our rotation all the time, honestly.
yeah.
But the reason I did it this particular time is because they built a 12-unit apartment complex
Okay.
for domestically abused wives. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not wives, women.
Got it.
So we made a donation to put furniture inside of the place. So it felt
Oh,
good because it's directly helping people, but also it's dealing with real estate. So it all worked. It's all congruent. It's aligned. You know.
yes, I love that. And speaking of being in line, I think anyone who's viewing and listening out there, like you got to make sure there's like this synergetic effect, like I like to say, where if like you're doing things that's not in line and doesn't make sense, then you're not adding value. And that's why we have the podcast because during COVID, you couldn't meet anybody. And for us, we're like, we're organic, right? We're organic. We get also I have a referral partnership program on the Liftoff Agent side that sponsors the show. And we just wanted to be able to have this, it's so much better to have this instead of the social media, there's the ads, the this, the that. There's so much going on, but I love to be able to have more of a organic approach when it comes to relationship building, and I love having the synergetic effect, so that way everything's in line with the vision, the goal, what you wanting to do. And I can tell you're so focused because you did the investment play, got into real estate before you actually got into real estate with your license and got your brokerage, and then you bought the office, and then after you bought the office or the building, you already knew what the aspiration was with the offices. And so I could tell that you just already very, very focused on like, we'll say sports here, on the plays, you had your plays down, you know exactly what you were going to make as far as those different plays.
Yep. You cut off, so I didn't hear the whole question. I apologize about that.
Oh,
You
you're
were
good.
asking
You're good. It
what
could
was
have. It could have.
the next question?
It could have been my side too. Internet sometimes. The next thing you know, you're like, "What the heck? What'd you say?"
Technology,
No,
man. Hey.
I was just saying that I love the synergetic effect, and I love the fact that you have the relationship team building synergetic, and I love how everything focuses on the brokerage, growing the team. You know, the real estate that you purchase, you already had that intention set for the office and what have you, and just telling our viewers and listeners out there, like it's very important not to be all over the place in quadrants or different business ventures that don't support one another.
Right. I agree with you 100%. So I'm working on building now, man. I'm focusing on trying my best to help my agents out. I hate to say my agents, the agents that I partner with. I'm trying to
Yeah,
my
there
best
you
to
go.
help them out by because the way I look at it is ultimate leverage because obviously I do get a percentage of everything that comes through the brokerage.
Yep,
So instead of me stretching myself then trying to make every sale, why not help them build their business so that way I can, increase my income at the same time by helping them. So that's where I'm at now. I have never invested in spending money on leads. I'm big on organic leads. So like
yeah,
most of my individual business, it comes from referrals and just, loving on my people. I believe in instead of spending money trying to get cold leads, why not take that money and spend it on the people that already know, like, and trust you? So I do a lot of things with my clients. Like spend money on them. I little client appreciation events, just catching up with people, dinner, coffee, drinks. I just like to build relationships that way. Because I've learned over the years that that's how I get my business. That and they keep sending me referrals, things like that. So that's how I build it. Um,
I love it.
yeah, nothing wrong with paying for leads. It's just not for me at this
Yep.
particular point in my life. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that what I've learned over the years. I'm 10 years in myself, and like we talked about before we got on air, 420 plus episodes in the space, and I don't know, probably met like 16,000 plus agents, and on the Liftoff agent side that sponsors the show, we got like 250 agents in 17 states, and so what I've learned is that at the end of the day, it's there's the door knocking, FISBOs, traditional making calls, right, Mojo dialer, that type of thing. There's the paying for Zillow, paying for Redfin, getting those leads. And then there's the passive prospecting, building the relationships. There's a lot of people now like on YouTube filming videos around their area and talking about the different parks and schools and restaurants and giving guides and giving good information and highlighting small business. And I think that's where we're headed. I think after COVID, people want to connect. They're tired of
Yep.
dealing with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like my wife and I, we moved out here to Gilbert, Arizona. We're about 20 minutes outside of Scottsdale, Central Phoenix, and we're in the Bay Area. And Bay Area is great, San Francisco, California, and it was amazing. But I was like, I wanted to change it up. I was like, all right, I'm in my 30s now. I want to go somewhere different. Want to change it up. And some dude was on YouTube showing me the whole area. I didn't have to fly. I didn't have to get no rental car and get a hotel. And she had her mom out here, so we could have stayed with her. But like, it just was like, whoa. And then now it's like, fast forward 4 years, we got the ugliest house in the nicest block. We're up like 400,000, 100,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? It's been
Right.
crazy. So I'm right there with you, man. Is build that relationship first, and add that value, and then they'll be like, "Yep, Antonio's a
Yep.
guy."
So some strategies, I guess some things that I do is instead of me taking, like I put a portion of every commission check aside for marketing. But
Okay,
with
okay.
that marketing budget, what I do is, I send a monthly email newsletter, and I don't even talk about real estate in the newsletter. I talk about
Mm,
personal finance because that's what I like, and I feel like personal finance touches everybody. If
yes.
I'm talking about real estate, that person may not be in the market to buy or sell or invest in their future, so it wouldn't apply to them. So I just talk about personal finance, like how can I add value to their lives by way of personal finance. I'm not a guru, but I love it, man. I'm so invested in personal finance. So I talk about that in my monthly newsletter. I spend money on sending an actual real estate related brochure, and I use the personalmarketingcompany.com. I don't get any referral from them or anything, but I use them, and it sends like an automated brochure to their
Yeah,
house that talks about different things with real estate every single
yeah,
month. So everybody I have in my database, I send them that every month. In addition to that, I call everybody or text at least once a quarter, and I have my CRM to set up to tell me who I need to be reaching out to based on the last time we talked. Outside of that, I post every single day on social media, every day. And the reason behind that posting is because Like the way I look at it is, I want to own mental real estate in people's minds. So they may not be liking or sharing my stuff, and that's fine. But as long as they see it, that's all that matters. Because
Mm,
all it's doing is reiterating to them that I'm in real estate. So whenever they have
yes,
a real estate need, they reach out to me. And
love
you'll
that.
be surprised at how many DMs I get just from being active on. And I'm not always just listed, just sold. Sometimes I'm giving information. Sometimes I'm highlighting something funny, but it works, man. Like just being consistent on social media because they see I'm out there actually doing the work.
Yeah. I love the email. I think the email and personal finance is super smart because a lot of individuals, they get in, they buy a house, and like my mom and my stepfather, they're going to be there for 30 years, and that's totally fine. And other people like to buy real estate, and they like to either get a HELOC and get a second property, or sell their first property and get a larger home, or whatever the case may be. Like my wife and I, we're going to be buying our second home up north, and we finally get a little mommy daddy time this weekend. Our daughter, she's 6, so she's going to be with my mother-in-law, which is cool. And so we're going to be up north and going to look at some houses and what have you. But when you talk about like financial literacy and helping people out, I mean, for the viewers and listeners out there, maybe they have an email marketing campaign, and maybe it's more centered around like the coming soon, just sold, just listed, and traditional side of email marketing, and not maybe adding as much value. What kind of value could they be adding in their email marketing campaigns right now in maybe the financial space, and personal, like financial literacy, that they could take from today's show?
So it depends on the person and their knowledge. I mean, I talk about taxes. I talk about like you name it. I have books on the stuff too. Like I
I
don't know. Can
seen
you see
that.
this? Yeah. So I have 3 different books, man. So this is my first one. It's called "I'm Out: Escaping the Rat Race, One Income Stream at a Time,"
I
and it's
love it.
basically just talking about like how COVID happened and a lot of people were out of jobs because they couldn't
Yep.
go into work. So if you're relying on one income stream, that's not a good thing, right? You need to have
Yep.
multiple sources of income stream, and the books are one of them for me. But in this book, I just talk about my story and basically real estate investing and how if you invest in real estate, it'll continuously repay you over time. Everything is
Mm.
long term. There's nothing quick. Um, this one right here, this is from listed to sold, 55 expert strategies to get your home sold in any market. It's crazy with this one because I wrote this as a lead generation magnet for sale by owners. So I was planning on sending this to them, like put it in the mailbox, free of charge, and I wanted them to read it. And then once they start reading it, be like, "Damn, this is too much information. I might as well just hire him." You know, that was the
Yeah.
goal. But then realtors started buying it. So I was like, hold up, maybe I need to market to realtors. So I started marketing this to realtors because it tells you how to sell a house. So that was the second book.
Wow.
And this one I just put out less than 3 weeks ago. Things they don't teach you in school. So this is more personal finance related and it's geared to the younger generation. So I'm talking like anywhere from 15 to 25. And it's just trying to show you how to build your wealth, how to build wealth at a young age because if you're younger, you have time on your side for the stuff to compound. So this is I'm talking everything from retirement accounts, college, you name it. I mean, it's all in here, man. Saving,
Wow.
investing. So, but I'm sorry, I didn't even answer your question. I
You're
apologize.
good, dude. That's
So,
awesome. I love it.
so
Congratulations on the books,
thank
man.
you. So it's
Yeah.
basically just based on the individual agent and what they have. Like, what do they know? What can they talk about? Because,
Yeah.
like, I have a high open rate, man. It's anywhere between 60 and 70%, and that's
Wow.
about 390 people. So that's a good open rate for real
Yeah.
estate related. I know I looked into the data; it was about 12% open rate. So
Okay.
I'm in a 60 to 70, and I think that's mainly because I'm not just talking about real estate. Like people want to
Hmm.
know how to get more income. Like I talk about that, like how to increase your income streams. I talk about anything related to personal finance because that's my thing. That's what I like to do.
Dude,
So
I love that.
yeah,
No, the books are so smart, man. I mean, when you're talking about your books, there's a book that I read it's called The Seven Triggers to Yes. And so that states that if you do something for someone else and you're not expecting anything in return, they'll be more likely to do something back in return. So like when you're talking about the process of investing into reinvesting into the people that already like and trust, or you're talking about the books, or you're talking about the personal finance on the email marketing campaigns, it just resonated with me where it's just like, man, if you could just be adding as much value as you possibly can, that person's gonna be like, dude, like I got your books, I've been checking you on social, I've been getting your email marketing campaigns, like I didn't think I could do it, but I'm ready to buy a house. Like,
Yeah.
let's talk, Antonio. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. That's how I get all my business, honestly. And I think it just give, 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 and eventually it'll come back to you. If you give and not expect anything in return, it's gonna come back to you. It might not
Amen.
be immediate, but at some point it will.
Yeah. And that's our
So
legacy, right? At the end of the day, like, God forbid, knock on wood, right? We're gonna be good. And if something was to happen, it's those books, it's the knowledge, it's what you're putting out there that's going to be a part of your legacy for the eons to come when people see that, because it's unfortunate not to go too far down the rabbit hole with the system, but the system doesn't teach us about the fact that, like, what is financial literacy? Not just here's how to write a check, you know what I'm saying? But like, what are IULs? Like, what is life insurance? Like, what is stocks and bonds and annuities and the crypto and all that type of stuff? It just doesn't make any sense why they don't teach us these things, and why we have to learn the hard way, get the gray hair, you know what I'm saying, deal with all the stress and the sleepless nights, and go through it all to be able to be like, for our up and coming generation to be like, here, like, here's the tools, like, here's the knowledge, this is what you need, like what you're
yeah.
doing to help people be able to have hopefully quicker, faster success.
So I have a take on that, and I talk about it in my book.
Let's go.
Everything you just mentioned about why we are not taught that, and this is just I'm speaking for myself, no
Yeah.
one else. But I
Yep.
feel like we live in a capitalistic society where we need people dependent on the system. So if you were to learn all that coming up, then you would not be dependent anymore. You'll be independent. You don't need the government for things. We need workers. We need worker bees. So if you
Yeah.
taught people how to be business owners and all that, then the structure would fail. So yeah, we need worker bees. So that's why it's the way it is. So it's up to you and your family maybe to teach you these things. You to go out and seek it, because we have it everywhere. Like with YouTube University these days, you could get online and type in anything and get the answer.
Yes.
So yeah, it's up to the individual.
It's like the Matrix, man. You go onto YouTube, you type something in, you're like plug in, like you're not really plugging in, but you know what I'm saying, like you're plugging in
Yep.
as far as getting that information. And it's funny that you say that, because I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the future for just society in general. I mean, this is kind of like a right turn here on our show, but thinking about, okay, real estate versus tech, right? Thinking about technology, thinking about artificial intelligence, right? We're seeing that more things are happening where I feel like, and this is just my thought process, in the future, I can imagine robots, AI, things shifting. So where you have the worker bees potentially could be a lot more of the robots, right? And then they just
Mhm.
program the standard operating procedures, the key performance indicators, and they just got to make sure everything's good. The grocery store clerk or whatever else. You see it with like the self checkout, like everything's becoming more automated. So it's going to be interesting how people shift in the future, and like what's going to happen with that whole like worker bee scenario. And like one thing that for me that comes up when it comes to, like, of course we have, I don't want to say worker bees on the lift off agent side, but we have our team and staff, and like we treat everyone not like a number. We have an open door policy. We want to understand, what's your vision, what's your goal, where do you want to go? So then if anyone does, sign up for our service in the lift off agent side, like we know the client's goals. And if the client's getting their goals met, guess what, team? You're getting your goals met. And guess what, team? Then the company will get their goals met at the end of the day, because corporate America is always like the, bottom line, and, get the job done, keep your nose down, just, do your job. And that's one reason why I started a company for myself, because I was like, no, if I can't be seen in an asset, like I'm gonna be my own asset. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's gonna be interesting to see what's
Yeah.
gonna happen in the future.
So when the whole AI stuff started coming out, like ChatGPT and things like that, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, it scared me. It scared
Yes.
me. But I realized, like, if I don't get involved with it and learn it, then I'm gonna be behind, right? So it's something I use daily now, man. I use it for everything.
Me
And
too.
it did scare me, even the robots and all the things you mentioned. But you just have to make yourself like increase your skills so much that they can't afford to let you go. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like I would say you just hone in on making yourself so unfireable, like making it to where they cannot get rid of you, because that's how much value you bring to the table.
I love
But
that.
man, I use ChatGPT every single day, every
Yeah.
day, man,
I
every
love
day.
it. I'm right there with you, man. We literally just wrote a guide on how to automate your real estate business A through Z, and I'm everything from like, voice mic to Google, right? Copy paste, Chat GPT to grammar, because like I was diagnosed with a learning disability, tubes in my ears. I suck at reading and writing.
This book right here,
Yeah.
so I wrote it all in Word, and then I put it in ChatGPT and told it to fix the grammar for me, basically. So I
Boom.
edited the whole book
I'm
through
right there with
ChatGPT.
you.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Hey, I just saved money on the editor.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that if anyone out there is listening, when it comes to like illustrators, writers, copywriters, like that's the one thing I think AI really, I get the creative writing, right? Like personality creative writing, and I know that you can even put in prompts, with
Right.
ChatGPT and even have that come up with like a certain swag, if you will. You know what I'm saying? In the way that you deliver it, but it won't be authentically you. Obviously, if someone
Correct.
reads it, they know that, okay, hold on, this is not his personality. This is not how he talks. Not how he, how he does what he does with his literacy and his way of being able to drop the words he drops. But I love that, man. That's very interesting. We'll see what happens in the future for AI and artificial intelligence and all the things. And so the books, I'll put all the links down below. Is that all on just Amazon? Like if they wanted to order them?
Yeah, so it's all three of them are on Amazon, but I don't push people towards Amazon because they take 40%.
Oh,
So
damn.
yeah, and I'm a big stockholder in Amazon too, but I'd rather you come to my website, gotincomestreams.com.
Okay.
I have more than just the books. So I have ebooks up there, paperback versions, as well as a few other things on there. I even have a course on basically escaping the rat race blueprint.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love
I was
it,
gonna
man.
mention regarding ChatGPT though, I use that for listing descriptions, social media captions. I even use it for my workouts now. So instead of paying the trainer, I tell them exactly, my weight with access to what machines I have access to or whatever. And I tell them to come up with a plan geared towards, let's say, losing fat and building muscle. And then they'll give me a plan. Like I use that for everything now, man.
Wow.
It's amazing.
I
Yep.
didn't even I didn't even think about it like that.
Try it.
Interesting.
You'll be amazed. Try it.
Yeah, I'll have to because
Yep.
I put together my own workout regimen. Right now, I'm doing the V shreds, and then I've been playing around with supplements and different things. And it's a big part of my life, my wife's life. She was on stage 5 times for figure competition, what have you. I thought maybe one day I'll get on stage. We'll see what happens. But I got a selfish question, and maybe someone out there also is curious when it comes to writing a book and like it's like I don't think it's shifted. It's not like you have to have like an inventory of like 10,000 books just sitting somewhere in a warehouse. So when someone orders a book and they want a paper-bound book, is that just going to go like that gets printed and gets shipped just as orders come in? How does that work?
Yeah, if you go through Amazon, that's how they work. Is get printed. You buy it and they print it. But if you come through me and my website, I have a stock full of books here. So, like I
Ah,
said, I'm the only staff, so I'll mail it out personally and things like that.
wow.
So I buy, but I print mine through Amazon. So author copies, and I just buy, in bulk, and I ship them out whenever orders come through. Well, it's awesome though. Like I talk about income streams. This is just another income stream. I wake
Yes.
up to book sales. Like everything's, I get an email, book sold. I'm like, great. I'm not even out there publicly marketing it like that. I need to because that can increase sales. But yeah, man, it's awesome.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
you sign you sign each book or what? We get autograph from
No,
you?
I can. I don't though.
I
I
understand. I'm
can
like,
for sure. I
we
just
get
normally I just package it out, ship it, man. Try to get it to you as fast as possible.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yep.
So for the viewers and listeners out there, they say like the average millionaire has like 7, streams and so on and so forth. How many streams do you have?
All right. So if you categorize, let's say like rental real estate, that's one stream.
Yep.
The brokerage, that's one
Okay.
stream.
Yep.
My individual production, that's another stream.
Yep.
The book sales, that's another stream.
Yep.
So four. Am I missing something?
It sounds like you
Is that
got
all right?
stocks though, right? You got stocks. So you could.
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
do.
It's not
I
like
do.
a. It's not a revenue stream, but the market's up right now. I'm making some money.
Yeah, I just reinvest everything there.
I love it.
So and
I love
also,
it.
I forgot, I do have another stream. I lend money. So I use myself, and I mean, I guess you could look at it as a stream, but I can't touch the money until retirement. So it's my self-directed IRA,
Got it.
and I just lend money to real estate investors using that money, and I can't touch it until 57 and a half. But it's just another bucket. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
on the wealth building journey. So like I was telling my friends 3 days ago, and I was saying how I came up, and I didn't tell you this, but single mother, police officer, 3 kids. So we didn't
Wow.
have a lot at all. And I struggled. We struggled, and I never want to go back there. And I have a 6-year-old son and a 3-year-old son. And
Aw.
the way we're raising them right now, man, like they're gonna be trust fund babies. Like they're gonna be set.
Wow.
You hear me? Yeah. So they're employees of the business. I pay them a salary. That money is used to invest in the IUL, invest in the stock market, invest in the custodial account. They're gonna be wealthy, and they're young, so they have time on their side. You know, I
Dude.
didn't have this. I didn't know this information when I was young. I didn't have that exposure, but we have access to so much stuff now that is up to you not to get it. You know.
Amen, man. I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you. Like, dealt with a lot of stuff, no father figure and what have you growing up, and seeing mom be beat, a lot of drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
diagnosed with learning disability, tubes in my ears, held back, colitis, you name it. And so this is all new money, you know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
my daughter, she has her life insurance policy, and we're putting money away, and I'm gonna have to take you up on making her an employee on the organization side. I don't have that right now. But I love that, man. My wife and I both she has her tea company, and so she has Resident Tea Co. She's the international tea master, and we got
Nice.
Liftoff and got that little podcast, and then we also do other things too with some fix and flip and some Airbnb in and some house hacking and some Toro car renting, and so we got about 7 streams right now ourselves, and so yeah, I'm right there with you. You wake up, you're like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'm big on reinvesting the money though, man. So I'm 40. So I have some years ahead of me, So I'm big
Hell yeah.
on taking the money now, reinvesting it, building up them assets. And then, I can relax later. My
Yes.
retirement age, start relaxing off that cash flow coming in. But right now I'm broke. Everything I take, I go out there and invest it.
Yep.
Seriously.
Yep. Me too.
Yep.
Yep. Every single week, dollar cost averaging into the market, or put
Yep.
in various different places. Like I think listeners out there, Acorns is cool. I love Acorns. Rounds up. You put money in there, and like I'm right there with you. I hate money sitting in the bank. I want the money to be out
Working.
working. Yep.
Yep. Bringing back babies, man. That's how I look at it. That's my
Hell
baby,
yeah.
bringing back babies. Yep.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love that. I love that. So I see you have a lot going on with Melissa. So Melissa was actually on our podcast probably like over 2 years ago. And
Okay.
it looks like you guys are doing some strategies for top producing real estate professionals. What you guys got going on over there?
So we're doing a high level mastermind in New Orleans. It's going to be
Nice.
October 24th, 2024. It's actually just the afternoon, so 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. And
Okay.
then we have a happy hour right after that from 5 to 7. And so it's just more so basically showing how we did it. So one thing I hate in real estate when it comes to sales, a lot of top producers, they act as if it's like a secret. It's no secret. It's just a matter of, are you going to put in the work? So what we're going to do there is just tell people exactly what we do. The cool thing about it, I don't mind. Like I'm an open book. I'll tell you everything I do. You're not me and I'm not you. So you're not going to do it exactly like I do it anyway. So none of that matters to me. I hate when people have
Exactly.
scarcity mindsets and they
Yep.
act as if I tell you this, then that's going to cause me to lose business. But no, it shouldn't be like that. Me and Melissa, we both have abundance mindsets and we just want to share. Obviously, it costs to get in. That's, a barrier to entry.
Yep.
But we're going to give you the game and you're going to walk away with a lot of information. I promise you that. And I feel 100% confident saying this.
I love that, man. I love that. And that's why we love this podcast. At the end of the day, we're just pouring in. You know what I'm saying? You want to
Mhm.
subscribe? Cool. You don't have to. You want to like the episode? Cool. You don't have to. You want to share it with someone else because you think there's value here that you got? Cool. Right. But it's
Yeah.
free. Right. And that's where I feel like people forget too. Like where YouTube is great. Like you just get 1,000 subs, 4,000 hours of watch time. And now because of the shorts, you're supposed to get like 10 million views. But then you can start monetizing and you can make money off of just educating other people and you don't have to do nothing. And I feel like so many of these gurus, put like these large gates or barriers, so people can't really like get close to them. But I love the fact that you're doing these events, you're letting people get close to you, you're showing up on this show. I really appreciate your time. You didn't need to be here and do anything with this, but your servant's heart and said, yeah, I'm gonna go on this show. And of course now the team's gonna produce it. We're gonna do short form content. It's gonna look dope, and you
Yeah.
don't have to do nothing. This is another opportunity for you to leverage your past efforts, right, on a
Yeah.
recording to educate
Yeah.
someone out there.
And look, I want to tell you this. I'm not sure if you're aware, and this is not a promotion for them, but I do like the tool. So you're familiar with homes.com?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go on homes.com on the first page, when that toolbar comes up, you can just type in any agent's name and then it'll tell you how much they sell. So
Mm,
you can look at it. Go pull me up, pull Melissa up, add those numbers together. You'll see we did over 420 transactions over the last 5 years. Just us two.
wow.
So
That is
yeah,
huge.
I love when realtors say, "Oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that," and then you pull up the numbers and you're like, really? Are you? You know? So it's a great way to check, verify when
Yes.
people say they're doing this and doing that. So
You
yeah,
know,
I love that too.
It's funny that you say what you say about that, Antonio. But I go in. What I like to do is you could find out like on like Zillow too. You look them up, and it'll say like their past sales, and it'll tell them like their average home sales price and what they sell. And you see these agents, man. And this is no knock to any agent out there that's out there getting it. I just feel that like you look at some of these like rapping realtors, and you look at some of these comedians, you look at some of these people out there that got like hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of views on their content. And I want to say, congratulations, like awesome, good for you. But then you go in and you look at their production, and you're
Yeah,
like you're not really like we're like how are you getting paid, dude? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like where's the money coming from? Because like I think that's where a lot of people have a hard time kind of understanding how to monetize. And I think that like the social media world, if we're talking about real estate versus technology, the social media world gives this facade that isn't always the reality. You know what I'm saying?
correct.
Like I just met a guy, and he's like, I'm not on social media. I don't like social media. He's talking about a broker site or whatever. He's over in Vegas. The guy has like 750 properties he has under management. He had 95 doors and investment properties just on his own regard, and the guy's crushing it. And he has a brokerage, and he has multiple offices, and like he's nowhere to be found on social media. So that's why I'm saying,
Yeah,
like, anyone viewing out there, listening out there, like, don't get. And I like that you said that. Like, look me up, because a lot of people get like, oh, bright shiny object syndrome. A lot of these agents, oh, what's the next big tool? Who's the upcoming celebrity agent? Like, wait, like, okay, cool. Like, what are they doing? How's it working for them? Are you gonna go rap? Is that what you're gonna do on social right now?
yeah. It's ego versus the money, right? I don't care about like the likes and the views and all. I'd rather just get paid and live my little life over here and not have to work. Honestly, I keep all the notifications off. I don't even like that. So I
Yeah,
pay a company. Like I outsource my social media.
there you go.
Monday through Friday, they're posting for me, but I still post too as well, like
Yeah,
things on the go. But yeah, man, I can't I can't spend on if I'm spending all my time on social media, then I'm not making money.
yep.
So what you got to choose.
You got to
So I
choose.
agree with you.
Exactly. And if you are going to spend a lot of time on social media, then you better have a standard operating procedure and a way to be able to have CTAs, call to actions. You're driving traffic somewhere. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Getting leads somehow. If you're doing that process, and whoever and whatever decision you make out there, like more power to you. You know.
Yeah. I wrote this down earlier and I realized I never came back to it. You were talking about something and it made me think about the National Association of Realtors, how they do that annual home buyers profile and sellers profile, where they track this data over
Yeah.
years. And I don't know the statistics exactly, but I'm probably off maybe 1 or 2 percentage points. But they say, when they're interviewing buyers during the process, they say that 87% of them say they'll use their realtor again. But then when they track these people later, only 13% of them actually use the realtor. And I
Yeah.
think the problem with that is because a lot of the realtors in our business, we treat it, not we, but as a whole, treat it as
Yep.
a transaction as
Yep.
opposed to a relationship. A lot of people, they sell you the house and they go away. But that's not a winning strategy to build a business. We all have our and yeah, I'm talking about building a business, not so much the brokerage, but my individual agent business, like me as an agent. Like you
Yeah.
have to develop and nurture these relationships because you don't want the people to forget you. Yeah, they won't be buying in the next few years, and that's fine. And maybe they will. I don't know. But the chances of them buying in the next couple of years are slim. But they
Yeah.
know people who are.
Yep.
Everybody has their own sphere of influence. So if you nurture that relationship with one, that opens you up to potential deals with others. So that's why I'm big on building relationships instead
I
of just
love
worrying
that.
about a transaction.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I think if you go deeper, right? Like they say, like where your attention goes, your energy flows, right? Like your vibe creates your tribe. So like if you're like vibing out and you're like
Yeah.
buying a house, right? And like you're at a certain age demographic, I don't know, you have a baby on the way, or you already have one, you want to have another, and you're renting or whatever else. Well, guess what? I'm sure that person you're going to work with has friends that also have the same, if not the exact same circumstance that you're going through. And if you did a great job and you went to the next level, and you see some of these people that do this like red carpet closing, they'll pick
Mhm.
them up in like a sprinter van, and the pop champagne, they'll like take it to a whole other level, right? And then guess what? And then that gets shared on social media. And then guess what? There's collaboration opportunities. And then guess what? Your friend who has the same circumstances now wanting to work with you. And I'm right there through it with you, Antonio. Like this house we bought right here, ugliest house in the nicest block. Joe's like, hey, dude, like, yeah, congratulations. I know you're gonna do all these things to your house. I can't wait to see how it's gonna look and all that type of stuff. I'm still waiting for him to reach out to me to be like, hey, how does it look? Like he haven't even reached out to me. I'm like, bro, it's been 4 years, bro. Like this house doesn't look nothing like the same, man. We got $400,000 in equity. I guess you don't want no piece of that. I mean, I'm not
Right. I guess
selling,
and
but
think about like all the opportunities he's missed with people that you have come in contact with that may need his services, but he hadn't been in touch and staying in touch with you and in
yeah,
your life. So he
yeah.
missing, on opportunities.
And he's not even doing our fix and flip. You know what I'm saying? You could be selling
Right.
all those fix and flips. You know what I'm saying? We're about to buy another house up north, but it's good. It is what it is. So I think anyone who's viewing, listen out there, go deeper, man. Like you say,
Yep.
relationships all day, every day over transactions. Because at the end of the day, God forbid, knock on wood, anything happens to any of us, no one's going to remember you because of the transaction. They're only going to remember you because the way you emotionally impact them to make them feel something because they actually felt the fact that you cared. And that's where I feel
Yep.
like where emotion goes, you know what I'm saying? Like you look at trauma, you know what I'm saying? This is where we're going to go deeper on the new podcast for the liftoff experience. Like you look at trauma. Why do we remember the things that are the most traumatic when we're children, but we don't remember all the highlights of the good things that happened because where emotion goes, like the energy flows, you can't forget some of those things that are so deeply innated, ingrained in our body. You know what I'm saying? They call them
Yep.
engrams. And so that's
Yep.
where I feel like if you can give them the wow factor on the positive side, when purchasing a house, plus they're in it every single day, 1 year anniversary, 2 year anniversary, you're sending them something, a gift card, whatever it is, dinner for mommy and daddy at, the Italian spot down the street, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like it just goes so much further.
Yeah, I can take it one step further for the people
Oh,
that, because I know we have a lot of realtors listening. So the clients that you really enjoy working with, like let's say these are your ideal clients, people that you enjoy working with, maybe a nice price point, whatever. What
yep.
I like to do with those people is I'll throw them a housewarming party. We can set
Uh,
aside maybe $500, something like that. It doesn't have to be
yeah.
anything expensive. But every single time I do this, when we get to the party, they show me around to their friends, like I'm like the new puppy. They show me around. Hey, this is my agent. He's the reason we're doing this. And what does that do? That introduces me to potential business from friends of the people that I like working with. So it's probably, they're probably going to have some kind of synergy as far as same type of job, same
Yep.
temperament. So I'm getting in front of more people that I like to work with. So it's
Yes.
smart. It's a great thing to do. I love doing that.
Dude, that's so smart, man. And if you can have someone else be your raging fan and be speaking on your behalf, tooting
Yep.
your horn, and talking about who you are, man, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, yeah, I'm not a licensed real estate professional. I'm doing the transactional side, but I'll tell you what, when we get a referral on our sponsor side, liftoff agent, it's like a guaranteed, like it's game over, guaranteed. They already got the testimonial. They already know that they have the need because the person is referring you because they have the need, and it's just that much easier, man. I love that. So true. So true. And leaving the show on a high note, because I love that to be something that people could really, think about putting in action. I wanna first off say, is there anything that is? I know you got the event, right? Links are down below. I want you all to go follow this gentleman. Go follow Antonio. He's amazing. Obviously, as you can see, a servant's heart. He's given a bunch of free stuff. Get his books, the whole nine, and it costs you basically next to nothing. Especially if you want to be his level of success, go look him up. Homes.com. Is there anything else you want to highlight? I got you, bro. I'll plug you. Anything else you want to highlight before we end? And then the last thing I like to do is just you know what I'm saying? Just spit some games. Give him a golden nugget. Give him something that is coming up for you as we close out.
So I don't have anything else I want to highlight outside of the mastermind, but we talked about that already.
Yep.
As far as the closing nugget, I would just say stretch yourself. Like make give yourself a goal that's so large that it's gonna excite you to get up in the morning and make you want to go to work. So I'll tell you what mine is right now. So
Let's
this
go.
is something that come on the radar the last 2.5 weeks, and we actually have a meeting about it today. But right now I'm stretching myself to do something that I've never done before. Me and the guy, he's an architect. We're doing right now the early development plans, but we're looking at starting a master plan community in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So 25 plus acres, master plan community. I'm talking about 104 houses, parks, possibly daycare, school. So it's something I've never done before. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I'm making that my
Wow.
goal. It excites me. It makes me want to, because you could sell houses all day. At some point, it gets, routine, boring. Well, yeah, somewhat boring. But
Yeah, keep it
yeah,
real.
man, that's my goal. I've never done that before, but I promise you, I will do it. Promise you
Let's
that.
go. That's
Yeah.
super sick. So this is going to be like a mastermind community where it's like almost like a compound, or is it going to be available for the public? What does that look like?
Yeah, yeah, for the public.
Okay, okay.
Basically developing a mix of townhomes, single family homes, and selling them. So I'm going to be the realtor selling them. It's just a way to increase my income streams. That's what I'm all about. But
Dude,
it's open to the public.
it's
Sell it to the public.
it's perfect alignment because, like you said, you're the principal broker. You're going to be the realtor. You're going to be able to sell the properties. You want to
Yeah.
grow. I mean, that sounds like right there too. Like you want to expand your brokerage. There you go. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have deal flow for any agents that you want to. Hey, you want to come under? This is the mastermind community. Here's the books. Here's the training. Here's all the things. I mean, you're gonna have a
Oh yeah.
dial, bro.
Hey, I'm all about increasing those income streams at the end of the day. Diversity.
That's sick, dude. Dude, congratulations, man. This is awesome.
Appreciate it.
And since you put out a big goal, I want to put out a big goal. Our goal is 15,000 agents that we're serving on a monthly basis that lift off at 12 million a month, 144 million a year. In the next 8 years, I'm selling the company for 300 million.
Nice. Hey, it seems like you thought about that one already.
Hell yeah, I did, bro. Let's go. Let's go. Let's
You spit
go.
those numbers out easily.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. I think so many people
Yeah.
are like, they're shy or they don't want to, they don't want to put out the big numbers because they're like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I never seen nothing like that before. You know what I'm saying? And like, we're going to push like 100 G's this month, right? And like 12 million from 100 G's, like what? But
Yeah.
you don't know what you
Yeah.
don't know until you just put it out there. And then the cool thing is, man, the Lord, the universe, whatever Jesus Christ, whatever you want to say, like once you start putting it out there, man, like it's crazy how it just comes up. Like
Yep.
you'll have these crazy situations or scenarios where like you get a phone call or something to come up and you're like, what? Like this ties in
You,
directly with what I want. Like this gets me
yep. You
closer.
speaking it into existence. That's what you're
Amen.
doing. So one thing I like to do when it comes to goals, like I like to put it out there. Like I just put it on podcast, so anybody can hear this and hold me accountable. Like I like to
Yes.
tell people my goals so they can come back and check on me. Like, hey, you say
Yes.
you're gonna do this. Whatever happened with that? I love accountability. So
All right.
I'm telling you right now,
Send him a
I will
DM.
have this done. I will have this done. And it's not gonna be something immediate, but 3 to 4 years, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
this done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Most
But anyone
definitely.
of you are listening, hey, go send Antonio the DM. Go DM. Say, hey, what's going on? You staying accountable? I would love for someone, just anybody, to send a DM who's already been on this podcast for an hour. Obviously, they're vibing out, they're enjoying the conversation, they're getting value. But go send them a DM. That'd be great. Just be like, yeah, I saw you on Real Estate versus Technology. You still on it?
Yep. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's happening. Everything is just in the works. Like I'm meeting the right people. Today I have a meeting with the architect as well as the
Yep.
developer, and we're
Yep.
going to talk about, like, not the developer for this project, but a
Yeah. Yeah.
developer that's done this before. So I want to kind of, I hate the word the term pick your brain, but that's what I'm doing. Trying
Yeah.
to get some information,
I love
gathering
it.
information.
I love
Yeah.
it, man. This has
Right.
been great. Just for everyone that knows or probably doesn't know, but if you've been watching for a while, we never met each other before. It's the first time we ever met. We're vibing out. We're having a good time. We're enjoying each other, and we're just speaking into existence what we want and pouring into anyone who's viewing and listening. Antonio, this has been a great experience with you, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the time. I hope I added some kind of value to the audience.
Oh, dude, 100%, man. You're coming in with books and the whole nine. Like, you're one of the few, if not like the only episode that people have been spitting off like 3 books in an episode. You know what I'm saying? And giving like you're giving and doing what you're doing. And, everyone has their own ways of giving and doing what they're doing. I don't know if we've had anyone who has 3 books like what you have and the way that you're kind of showing up. But that was what makes you, like you said, that's what makes you you.
Yeah, and one last thing I do want to promote real quick.
Yeah.
So I told you, or you mentioned it at the beginning about the podcast. So we're not actively doing the podcast anymore. However, it is still out there on your major platforms like Apple, Spotify, all the platforms. You can just search for the Financial Flows podcast. That's the Financial Flows with an S on the end podcast. And there's some really good episodes. We did it for a little bit over a year and then we stopped. It just wasn't working out, with
Okay.
timing and everything. So it's so much valuable information on that, though. I still go back and listen to some of the episodes, and they're short, like 20 to 40 minutes. So it's worth it,
Okay.
in my opinion.
I love it. I love it. Just adding even more value. And hey, if anything ever comes and pops back off with that show, man, I always like to spit some game when it comes to financial literacy. And I would always love to add some value on your side too, if you ever want to do the show again.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Hey,
Thank you.
likewise, bro. Well, I appreciate your time, man. Happy Friday. Have an amazing weekend. Good luck with the next steps to your next big, hairy, audacious goal. And I appreciate your time, brother.
All right. Thank you, man. Take it easy.
Of course. And hey, all the viewers and listeners out there, I appreciate you too. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Big thanks to Liftoff Agent for sponsoring the show. New episodes every Monday. All right. And that, boom, boom.
You
Cool.
cut off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I did.